Hello everyone, today is 16th of February, now it's about 6 o'clock in the evening Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is new episode of Headlines, short summary of the news that I will report about in my second news update of the day on Patreon page of mine. If you are interested to support my media project, this channel, you can subscribe to my Patreon. Link is in the description box or in the pinned comment. That's been said, let's go through the headlines now. And first of all, of course, headline from the breaking news. And one of the major news for today, which is that Alexey Navalny has died, according to prison service. Well, this is of course news of the day. Yesterday Navalny seems like feeling okay. I saw a video and yesterday he was participating in court hearings. He was talking to judge and nothing was telling in that video that he was feeling himself not really well. But today, according to official information that I see on Russian media outlets, today Navalny went for a walk in penitentiary facility. And after that walk, he felt bad, almost straight away lost conscience. And the medics in that facility tried to reanimate him. They tried to do whatever they could, but unfortunately they were unable to save his life. Of course, it will take time before investigation will provide us with additional information about exact causes of his death, and it's better to wait for official statements, of course. But well, Western media outlets are not waiting, and Western high-ranking officials are not waiting, and they are already attacking Kremlin, already attacking Russia for this tragic story. By the way, I was not supporter of Navalny. I will never support him because he was, in my personal opinion, asset of Western secret services and tool in hands of Western secret services. But well, any death is a tragedy, and well, of course, it's better to wait for official investigation. But Western so-called elite is not gonna do it, and they will use this story, and already are using for additional attacks on Russian government. While it is obvious, or at least in my opinion, it is obvious that if anyone has interest to make sure that nothing will happen with Navalny in a prison, it was Russian government, because exactly because any story with Navalny will be used against Russia, as it is right now, as it's used, and only force which will try to benefit from this story is the Western ruling class, because they will of course use this. They will use Navalny this time his death, to attack Russian government, to attack Russia, and they are already doing this quite openly. Some high-ranking officials already made statements and almost directly blamed Russian government for being responsible for death of Navalny, which is definitely unprofessional. And by the way, in my personal opinion, if Navalny died not from natural causes, which is theoretically possible, let's say, then I'm quite sure he was neutralized by Western secret services under orders of Western ruling class, because Navalny in prison was not really useful for Western ruling class. But the death of Navalny definitely can be used and will be used by Western ruling class, Western propaganda outlets, to try somehow and not just demonize Russia, but destabilize country from within. They're gonna fail. 100%, but they will try. And you may have a question: how could Western secret services conduct a hit on Navalny? Well, anything is possible. They could bribe somebody who has contact with Navalny, and certainly there were a number of people who had some regular contact with Navalny. and there are number of ways how this hit could be conducted. And Western secret services are professionals when it comes to this type of operations. They have long-standing story of conducting assassinations worldwide. So yet again, I'm not saying that this is the case. Let's wait for investigation. But if investigation will come up with conclusion that there was external influence on Navalny, then I'm 100% sure that external influence was coming from Western secret services. That's my take on the situation. On one of the channels, by the way, on one of the big channels, I did saw information that cause of death of Navalny might be some blood clot. Although at this point, any scenario can be seen only as a speculation, because before investigation comes up with the official statements, no one really knows what happened. This is, of course, number one story for now, and well, not just in Russia, but I guess worldwide. But there are some other stories also, and let's go through some other headlines. RIA Novosti is reporting here that Ukraine and Germany sign up for a security agreement. Germany is yet another country which is signing this empty, fake paper that is only declaration, and that's it. No obligations for any of the sides to do anything really. But for whatever reason, Western ruling class continues to conduct this media op with the sign-ups of the security agreements. Today is Germany, next week it's going to be France, I believe. Zelensky from Germany, and Zelensky is in Germany now. Zelensky will travel to France and will sign similar paper with Macron, together with Macron, president of France. And after that, some other countries will also, of course, follow suit. First one was UK, if I'm not mistaken. And by the way, one way how Western ruling elites can use this paperwork is that they may justify occupation of Western Ukraine by saying that they had agreement with Ukraine and they have to provide some security, and therefore they will establish control over the Western Ukraine together with Poland, Hungary, Romania, and this way they will, at least partially do what they were obligated to do, although in reality they are not obligated by these papers to do anything. But these agreements definitely can be used as additional justification of inevitable, in my opinion, occupation by NATO member states of the Western Ukraine. Rest of the Ukraine will be controlled by Russia, but Western Ukraine will be controlled by NATO. And to justify this occupation, first of all, to their own citizens, of course, they have to come up with something, and these agreements may be one of the reasons, formal reasons, of course. But anyway, let's continue. RIA Novosti's report here that Ukrainian brigade, by the way, 3rd Ukrainian brigade, assault brigade, also known as Azov neo-Nazi formation, made the claims today that some of its units are in encirclement in Avdiivka direction, and basically they are acknowledging that they entered the hell. They were not ready, seems like, to what was waiting for them in Avdiivka direction. They were not prepared for that. They have huge casualties. Many units of this Azov brigade refused to obey orders, and well, they're gonna come up with now justifications why they were so ineffective, while they were presented to the world as some kind of elite force in strategic reserves of Kiev regime, when in reality it's a bunch of Nazi mass murderers, criminals. That's it, really. TASS news agencies report that Ukraine's general staff calls catastrophe for Ukraine in Avdiivka direction. Maneuvers of the forces, they couldn't come up with some better explanation, and they are calling this some maneuvers, regroupings. Okay. While Ukrainian forces are trying to regroup in Avdiivka direction, Russian forces establishing control over the more and more territories. And as I said in the first update today, it's only a matter of days, and Avdiivka will be under full Russian control, and that may become a beginning of the end of Ukrainian forces as a more or less battle ready or battle capable entity, because of course psychologically this fail gonna have huge influence, huge impact on morale of Ukrainian armed forces. Anyway, let's continue. RIA Novosti's report that according to Lavrov, Foreign Minister of Russian Federation, Sergei Lavrov, EU wants to transfer to Kiev regime long-range weapon systems so that Zelensky's regime will be able to target heart of Russia. That's exact quote, heart of Russia. And I guess Lavrov meant Moscow. And we all know that UK and France already delivering to Kiev regime Storm Shadow and Scalp long-range cruise missiles, but they are capable to operate only about 300 kilometers in length. And there are talks for quite a while that Germany may provide Taurus long-range missiles, and there are also talks, by the way, that US is considering to provide long-range weapon systems. But in this particular case, Lavrov was talking about EU and European states. Among EU member states, it's Germany that has these Taurus cruise missiles that have a 500-kilometer range, and theoretically those weapons, theoretically by the way, those missiles can reach even up to Moscow. And maybe Lavrov has some intelligence information from Russian secret services, and that's why he made this statement. Hard to tell, but let's wait. In upcoming days, probably we will learn some more, and it will be much clearer what Lavrov meant by these statements that the EU is planning to provide Kiev regime with long-range weapons to hit heart of Russia. RIA Novosti's report that in western Belarus, by the way, saboteurs were detained. Saboteurs that were planning to planning to bring to Belarus some explosive materials, to smuggle in Belarus explosive materials for its use then in Russia and Belarus for terrorist attacks. And this statement was made by Alexander Lukashenko, president of Belarus, and he also mentioned that this is not the first instance when on the border with Ukraine some saboteurs have been arrested. This type of stuff happens quite often, which definitely can be seen as an indicator that Kiev regime, Kiev secret services are actively engaged together with Western secret services in attempts in terrorist activity, basically on Russian and Belarus soil. We all know that Ukraine's secret services basically openly acknowledged the terrorist activity, but of course this type of actions would not be taken without green light from CIA. So one may say CIA is directly involved in this terrorist activity, which is true. I'm 100% sure about it. CIA is a terrorist organization. So RT's report here that Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, made yet another strong statement in regards to Palestine, and he said that recognition of Palestinian state is a reward to terrorists. Well, with this attitude towards decisions that was made on the world stage in the UN that Palestine should have a state. Well, with this type of attitude, of course, of Israeli government, of course, it's hardly possible that we will see any de-escalation in the Palestine anytime soon. It is more likely that Netanyahu's government will further escalate, and probably will even try to provoke regional conflict. RT's report, and I will end this short video on this news, that the US targeted the Iranian warship with a cyber attack, according to NBC. And this cyber attack, by the way, take place in the Red Sea last week, which is not really surprising. This operation was part of response by the administration of US President Joe Biden's following a drone attack on the US base in Jordan in late January, in which 3 US service members were killed and 40 others wounded. NBC said on Thursday the retaliation by Washington also included airstrikes in Iraq and Syria against what it said were Iran-backed militias. And during that time there were some rumors in internet, and I did report about it, that Washington was considering attacks on Iranian Navy, and maybe that's what they meant by attack, cyber attack, or influence on Iranian ships with radio electronic warfare systems. That also can be seen as a cyber attack. But whatever the case, let's see if Iran will respond on this information and what kind of statements will be made in Tehran. And this is it for this short, still short, by the way, 17 minutes only. This is it for this short video. Hopefully you will find it interesting and informative, and if so, please click that like button and leave some commentary just about anything, any topic. And if you can, please share links to my videos or my channel with your friends on any of the platforms that you are actively using. It will definitely help to reach wider audience and further develop this project. And if you think this channel is useful, interesting, informative, and deserves to exist in this field of news and political commentary, please consider to support my work with small donations through PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or by subscribing to my Patreon page. You can see links under this video in the description box or in the pinned comment. This is it for now. Have a great day and take care.